Welcome to the channel, folks. Clunkers and Classics. We're back on the 67 Camaro, and last episode we put on a brand new rear bumper and some weather stripping and fixed the drip rails, rust, and all kinds of little stuff. Trying to wrap up all the little stuff on the back end and that, so we can get to the floors and spend one good video installing the floors. And that's what we're going to do today. Whether I can get all this in a few days, I don't know. We'll give it a shot. I'll at least get half of it in there. Okay. So we'll go over it. Fred Flintstone floors. Now, I know some of you are going to say, oh, why didn't you just buy the whole floor, the full floor? Yeah, well, it's, you know, I don't know exactly how much it is. It between $500 and $1,000, and $500 might only be up to here, and $1,000 might be the whole thing. And but I didn't. And then this back piece, I know it's fairly cheap. This whole back section, which I did buy for the 81Z28 there. It was only 116 bucks. Called under the seat panel. This one ain't much more. I think it's 150, but you know, it's a lot of work, and it's in good shape other than these two holes here. So I think we're just gonna patch them and save a lot of cutting and welding and all that, because it'd be nice to have a brand new one in there, but not necessary. I don't know if it's worth all the extra labor. Okay, so these, there's a hell brace under here. These Camaros are built different. The floors built different than the Nova, Chevelle. I think a Nova, Chevelle, like that. What they have, this is the brace that gives it strength, right here. Well, Nova, Chevelle, they have a bar underneath that actually goes underneath, goes up underneath this hump and down and across. I think they got a couple of them, and that's what gives the floor strength. Well, this Camaro's got these plates that go over top. Once you get the floor in, then you put these in, weld them, and gives it strength. And they're called the seat panels. The you see where the carpet was here, that's where the seat bolts to. Okay, that's these panels here, and they're pretty thick stuff. There's where the seats would bolt in. Seat frame support. Okay. So I instead, this is almost a full floor right here. Two halves. Half the price of a new floor. So I just didn't want to cut out the whole floor. Not that it would sink or split or fold in half or anything, because you actually got the rockers. The rocker is the main structure of it. Then it goes up to the pillars and everything. So it's not, you know, but we're only going to do half at a time. So we're going to start with the passenger side here. Now this is the toe board called. It's half the toe board and half the firewall. That's we'll get to that later. That's this piece here, because the floor, I don't know, you can see a seam right here. So the floor only comes up to here type thing. So we got a section in toe board up to about here. put that in there and see, and then join that to the new floor, and then not exactly sure how far that comes up to here, but we'll figure it out. Now we also got these braces here, which are really thick. They're like twice as thick as this, or maybe, you know, thicker. What's it called? The front seat bracket. But this is where the subframe bolts into, right there. So I got them, even though I haven't had this up, looked underneath. I've been concentrating on the back area, getting that done. It would probably be best to undo that subframe, but to do that, I'd have to take off all this front sheet metal, which we're going to do eventually. Radiator support, take all that off, and then unbolt the subframe. Well, disconnect brake lines and cables and crap like that, then roll the subframe out. We got to do that because we're replacing the subframe. This one's all caved. They did a Dukes of Hazzard there, and bottom of the subframe's all caved in, so we're going to replace that anyway. Do we want to do that right now? I'm not sure, but it would probably be best so we could line these up. But yeah, let me clean up all this debris here, and I'll get underneath there and see if I can see exactly where that brace is and where exactly it welds to. Here's the bolt right here. So it is, oh, okay. It's underneath the seat frame here. No, we can't. Yeah, that's underneath. It's underneath here. Figure out where this goes. I think it goes something like that. So basically, we want to cut it all out and get in the main floor section, and then figure out where these two go. Okay. I didn't buy the left toe board. It didn't look that bad, but if anything, we might just have to patch it. I'll get a new one if we absolutely have to have it, but okay. So as you can see, the seat bracket's welded up here, and then it's going to be welded into this rocker here. You can see it here. So basically, we don't care about the fuel hose. It's all old and rotted. This thing sat for 35 years in somebody's backyard, collecting water, rusting out. And we're going to change the all the fuel lines. Brake lines, probably. I don't know if that's a brake line or a fuel line, but either take that off, loosen it, drop it down, or something like that. And then we'll figure out where I think this lip actually goes here, so we may have to repair some of this. We'll see. We'll set it in there. Let me get most of this cut out, and then and we'll see. See, we need to have some measurements to know exactly where this brace goes. Welds in there. See. So anyway, let me take my grinder wheel, cutting wheel, and start cutting. And I'll clean this stuff up and get underneath there and take a better look. that brace there's a transmission. That's a transmission cross member brace there. Doesn't have anything to do with the floors. So yeah, let me start cutting and I'll be back and show you. Okay guys, I thought maybe it only came up to here, but no, that's that there. It goes up and over, big lip, and they actually got it cut out from this. So yeah, it comes up to here, so that's good. Okay, this is a big brace underneath here. See, that's why I didn't want to deal with changing this over. So we lucked out. Okay, this has just got a lip here to the rocker, which is right here. So basically we're just going to cut her straight even with the rocker, and then we'll clean it up and weld it on there. I marked this where the brace goes. We'll be able to figure it out anyway, but yeah, right where these edges here line up, it lines up to the new one. Okay, well, we got most of the toe board. I thought maybe it only came up to here, which is this line here. See that? That's that. So we got it, hell, coming all the way up to here. Now this is a big brace underneath. It comes up down to here somewhere. We're leaving that brace on. Okay, we're just cutting the old stuff off, and then we'll have to grind her all down, clean it up, drill some holes in here, and weld it on there too, as well as there and here. Okay, and then we got a pretty big size area here, but we'll just cut off what we need, you know, just right in here somewhere, cut along there. Okay, now the seat brace here underneath, if you flip it over, that's the front, that's where this goes. That actually goes like that. See? There's where the bolt is right there. It's still in there. We'll have to take that out. And what'll happen is this nut here that it's on, you can barely see it right there. That's going to start spinning. So we may have to cut it off. That's all right. We got to cut all this apart, cut that off, and grind that thing off. And so anyway, that's how that goes, like that. So yeah, we got to weld in that floor first, then this, and we should be good. So let me I got the fuel line here is just hanging. I think the brake line's on the other side. We'll worry about that when we get there. Okay, we're probably going to replace that, take it off the blazer, because this will be standard thread. This blazer rear end is metric, so we'll probably have to use that line from the blazer going up to the master cylinder. Okay, so let me cut this out. The transmission cross member still bolted in there. I don't really have to take it out, but it's real close to the floor. Real close, but let's make sure we don't cut, well, we're not going to be able to cut through it, but it'll be a guide anyway to know if this thing touches it, then we're too far down. But okay, let me start cutting this out and I'll be back. Okay guys, this has got this for the seat belt bolt. It's got a brace underneath there, so I marked it. I'm going to cut around it and leave that brace, I guess it goes all the way up to here, leave that intact, and then Anyway, then this one, yeah, she's just spinning, had vice grips on it, but it's just rust welded all in there. There's a little cap that originally went over it. But yeah, I'm gonna have a hell of a time cutting that off. Like, anyway, I'll get it. Okay, well let me, like I said, we're gonna leave this brace on here, just cut away. We'll cut away up to here and leave this brace and maybe cut out some of this rotted stuff, but leave the brace intact. Okay, let me start cutting. Got my zip cutter here. I'll be back. Okay guys, give you an update here. Just been cutting away. Here's the front section. There's the transmission cross member subframe. We're gonna measure up here, see how far that goes, or just, I think it probably goes up to about here. We'll just cut it here for now. And same with this, I just kind of cut this apart. I made a little thing here. This is where the seat brace would go in. But once we get this floor set up there, then we'll cut it a lot closer. But just for now, just to get it to fit. Okay, I'm gonna cut this brace off here. You can see this is where the floor welds onto the rocker right there. We'll have to cut down this, and we're gonna grind all that and weld the new floor onto that old tab. I'm not gonna bother cutting out spot welds or nothing. And I cut all the loose stuff out of there. Same here with this is a little thing with a rivet or a little nut or something on there. It's got an indentation right there for it. Anyway, yeah, we're just going to grind all this down here and weld it onto there and around there. Okay, that's that brace underneath the seat belt there. Okay, so yeah, I couldn't get this off, like I said. Not exactly sure how I'm going to get that off. I may have to cut, although that's pretty, see, that's got that one brace there, then this brace, and then the floor. So you got 3 layers of metal. Thinking about just cutting it around here. Get this out of the way, and then I can get on the side and cut it. But as it is, if it's like that, I'll have to cut this, cut that. So I may have to do anyway. And then I just gotta put on a deep, well, I'm gonna have to cut this out of the way here, so the wheel will fit down in there, and we'll cut this edge here. But yeah, that's all I gotta do. Just cut that edge, cut that bolt off, and we'll fit it in there, see how it fits, and start cutting. I'm gonna cut all this edge off, and like I said, grind it all down. That one lip looks like it goes all the way down the bottom there. Although right there it's really skinny. Okay, well, let me do some more cutting and I'll be back. Okay guys, I got it out. Okay, so what I did, you can see it here, I can't touch it, it's hot as hell. So I cut an end off, and then I cut the end off and then got the cutting wheel on the side and kept going. Now I do have a whole new set of these bushings and everything, and nuts and hardware. It's like $109 for it. There's only 3 on each, 2 on each side, and then 2 the core support. There's only 6 of them, but I knew I was going to need all these bolts and washers and hardware and stuff, so I spent out and bought the whole set. So anyway, yeah, I'm going to cut some of the toe board, and then trim off all these edges here, and put a zip tie down there for this, and just grind it all down, and then we'll set it in there and see how it fits. Okay, so I'll be back. Okay guys, next morning. I was out here late last night, so I'll show you what I did. Got her to fit in there, fits in there pretty damn good. This is how the jigsaw puzzle goes together. So we'll take it off reverse wise. So this one will go on last. Like that. Okay, this brace would go second. That would, we will have to weld that to the floor. Drill some holes along here. Weld that into the floor. And then drill some holes along here and here. And weld that on there like that. Okay, so there's the main floor, and the easiest way to line it up is that hole right there for the body mount. That's just a little hole, just enough for that bolt to go through. I'll bring them out in a little while and show you. I bought the whole new set and hardware, like I mentioned before. Okay, so I ground down. Well, I just grinded off some edges here so it will fit. I got to do a lot more grinding. So what I'm gonna do, you see that plate underneath there? We're gonna drill a bunch of holes here, and that's where we're gonna weld it to. There. And then up here, we'll put in some self-tappers along here to hold it down snug. And we'll be welding this. Then I'm gonna take a marker or some tape. Well, first I'm gonna put that bolt and new bushing in there and snug it down so we know exactly where it goes. That way you can see, so we'll know the height of this. Kinda, anyway, it's just another guide to go through. Basically, we get that self-tapper down on that corner. That pretty much lines that up where we want it. Although I think I cut this down in here somewhere. But it's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect. So what I'm going to do is draw a marker or some tape right along this whole line. And then I'm going to overlap it, but I'm going to cut it about an inch down. So about an inch down from here, we're going to cut this, and then weld the new piece to that. So all that will have to be ground down. The toe board, I got it down about an inch. I'm not going to weld this right now because see the hole up there? We may end up using this toe board. This toe board here. This would actually go like that, I believe. Okay, so but anyway, just drop right in there. No fighting it or nothing. Let me there we go. So yeah, we'll put on the new bushing and hardware. So yeah, it's probably best to leave this hooked up as a guide. See, that would go up underneath there like that. So we'll get a new one, snug it down, and then oh yeah, we'll have to cut around that seatbelt hole right there. Okay, this is a big brace. It's a little bit rotted right there, but it's a big heavy duty brace. I don't know forgot what it's called there. I think some people call it a torque box or something, but we're going to grind this down and clean this up and 415 it, except for in here where we're going to weld. We're going to weld to here and across here. So we're going to clean that up a little bit. And eventually 415 all this area too. But we're just going to concentrate. You can see where I cut it a little bit. We're just going to grind that a lot better, grind this a lot better, where we're going to weld it, grind it around here, and like I said, wherever it comes across here, and we'll dip it down there, and then throw some holes, weld it onto that brace. So yeah, that's what I'll be doing. I went over the prices when I bought these a few months ago. I wrote them down. These floor pans were 180 bucks for the pair, left and right. This is for the driver's side. These seat brackets here were 55 each, and then this one is where there were different prices. That was 34, and then the right, I don't know, it was more than 34. It's like 44 or something weird. And then this toe board was 63, which I probably don't even need, but I didn't realize the floors come up so high. But that was before the May 3rd 25% auto parts tariffs, so they've all gone up since then. I don't know what the exact prices are. I know I had written down that the toe board, this one here, exact one, same company, same seller, went from 63 to 71.95 or something. So that went up $9. Not sure about the rest. They've gone up yet, but they will be going up eventually. So okay, well, let me do a lot more grinding and trimming, and I'll be back. Okay guys, this is the kit that I bought, body mount kit, made in USA for you, or made in America for you American made guys. I think it was $109. I don't usually pay that much for these, but I wanted the right kit and all this hardware stuff, see, because I knew we were going to need it all. So anyway, they give instructions, but that's what I figured out on this one anyway. Got a bushing on the bottom, one on the top, and that goes there, and then this will come up underneath and bolt into the floor. So we'll leave that one like that, because this is the old one here. The old one had that, and I don't know what fell out of the bottom when I cut this bolt out. It just fell like that, but I don't know where the there had to be a bushing at the bottom there, but I don't know where it is, so I was trying to find it to match it up. But anyway, that's what I matched up so far. Okay, I just thought I'd show you that. It's supposed to be for says Camaro subframe there, and then these instructions: 67 to 81 Camaro, 68 to 74 Nova, 67 to 75 Firebird. So yeah, there's 3 on each side, and they're all different bushings in there. So if they were all the same, it'd be easy, but we want the exact measurement. You don't want your subframe, you know, high on one end or anything. And the other subframe bolt, in case you're wondering, is right. Where is it? It's, well, I'd have to show you. I'd have to show you underneath the hood. It's all. Anyway, it's right up in here. Then you got the one on the core support. So 3 on each side. Okay, I'll be back. Okay, guys. I got it all ground down where I'm going to weld it. Okay, I may not weld it up there yet, though. Like I mentioned before, I got some weld through primer. And we'll spray a little of that over it. No, I meant to, we're going to put some 415 there. Okay, and this, not sure what I'm going to do with that, because I know I need a wire wheel or something to clean that up better, but anyway, I'm going to do around these edges here. I'm going to weld on the top, and then we're going to weld on the bottom. We're going to weld all this tab here to the bottom later on. We'll clean all this stuff up underneath here. Then underneath there, tap it flush, grind it some more, and tack weld this area here, just so it looks really nice from underneath. Okay, well, now I got to I kind of marked where the weld holes are, there, and over there. I forgot to cut out the little hole right there for the seat belt. And then we'll have to grind down all this where we weld. Okay, so when we do that, I'll be back. Okay, guys. Got it all screwed in. Like I said, this fit pretty good, but this doesn't fit that great. And it looks like the floor's down a little too far here. But I bolted this in. That's a bolt from the subframe, just to get this into place. And then I jacked it up, jacked the floor up, put a couple of screws, and then when I let the jack down, it just broke them screws. So, because it's supposed to be up a little bit right here, but I think we're just gonna leave it like that. So yeah, anyway, I'm just gonna grind all this out, and then plus it don't fit very good right here. So I think what I'm gonna do, I'll try to hit it with a hammer and bend it. If not, we'll have to cut it along here, bend it in there, weld it, and then weld that up. But once that's done, well, we gotta weld all this up, take these screws out. And once that's out, we can, it's not going to fit in there very good with that sticking out right there. But that would go in something like that. And we'll line that up. We'll drill a bunch of holes here and weld that in. Then we got to drill some holes along here to weld it along there. This thing is going to be just like the factory had it. Just had the shit weld that out of this and this to make it really, really strong. So anyway, yeah, I'm gonna start up here, start welding all this in here. See, this tunnel was a little bit bent, so that's why there's so many screws in there. It was, you know, real flexible, but I didn't want to sit there with a screwdriver and keep pushing it against there, so just stuck a bunch of holes in there. And then I was fitting it in there, screwing it all down, and I thought, oh shit, I forgot the pour 15 inside here. So we're gonna have to drill a hole in here and spray some stuff. I use that Eastwood spray on the roof and stuff up there, but shit, at 40 bucks a can, I ain't buying that no more. So we'll have to figure out. I still got one of those cans of krill or croil, whatever it is, somebody recommended, but I think it's just oil. Anyway, we're gonna drill a hole in here and spray up in there, protect it somewhat. But anyway, yeah, I think she's ready to weld in there. So, and I don't know how good you can, yeah, this is just holding the fuel line out of the way, but there's the new bushings right there. That's the way it's supposed to be. Okay, let me start some welding and I'll be back and show you. Okay guys, we got this whole brace welded in. I did use my jack and jack up the floor to where these lined up and just welded it all in there. Let the jack down, it held. Okay, yeah, this actually bent pretty easy. I just used my use a hammer and bang that, you know, wherever it was sticking up, and it went flush in there. I had to put a couple of screws, then welded it. Okay, so that's all welded up, and the last piece of the puzzle is this, which I just drilled all these holes to weld it, and I'm gonna go in something like that. It'll line up to these tabs here. Let me show you. Just left the old tabs on there, so okay. Anyway, then that will weld to that brace there. We gotta go up like that first. Okay, so it's sticking up right in here. So we gotta drill a couple of screws and hold this back down like that and that. And once we get that, we can weld it all in there. And then that's it for this side. Well, I mean, I still gotta weld I'll weld it all in here and all in there. But yeah, we still got to weld all the way around. Yeah, and I cut the wrong spot. Once it sat into place, my hole where I thought it was going down, so I got to just cut that right there. That's for the seatbelt hole. Okay, well, let me screw this into place and start welding. So I'll be back. Okay guys, next day. I was out here at about 2 in the morning. It was nice out. It had rained for about 5 minutes earlier and kept all the bugs away. So I was out here. It's nice and cool with no bugs. So lots of welding, drilling, screwing, grinding, and shit. So she's all in there. Except for this area here. Like I said, I need to look at the front, take off at least the hood and get in there, and we may replace that hole. that whole toe board which I got here. But anyway, we'll leave that. So yeah, other than that, she's all welded. And then got to get up underneath there, and mainly this area here, grind it from underneath. No, I still got to grind all this area here, and grind it all from the underneath there and pretty it up, and maybe a few more little tack welds where it's overlapped. Smooth it all out, and you know, undercoat it, seam seal it, and all that stuff. So yeah, we have to, we're gonna put some primer over this. Gonna seam seal all these edges here. That's another thing, we gotta get up underneath this lip here. And we're gonna put some welds along the bottom underneath. I'll have to show you that probably tomorrow morning. I'll gotta clean all this crap out of here. And we'll get up underneath there, do a little bit more welding and clean up and all that. But okay, we're gonna do a little bit more work on over here, a little grinding, and then we're gonna start cutting out that driver's side. So I'll be back. Okay guys, I scuffed that side, got it all ready to prime. Working on this side, got the impact, that bolt came out. I didn't have to cut it like the other side, but it didn't come out easy. Bolt for the subframe. So as I'm torquing on it there, a quarter popped out from somewhere in here, and I don't know if you can see it. But in 1965, too bad it wasn't 1967, but yeah, that's been in there a long time. And I keep finding these little seashells, so I don't know if she's been sunk in the ocean or something or what. But anyway, yeah, we got the brake line right here. Had a clip under here and here and loosened it. Like I said, I think we're going to be using a brake line off the Blazer or a new one. But anyway, I got it all cut along here, and fixing a slicer down here and take that whole section out. Okay, well, I'll be back. Okay guys, next morning. Okay, I took off these covers here. There's only a couple of screws holding them on. They go over these, over the rockers here. There was no rust other than this that wasn't underneath there. We're gonna patch that later. But I coated it with 415, and I brushed some primer on all the metal. Next step was we're gonna put a little seam sealer all the way around there, and then spray paint all this black. Now I'm gonna leave, like I said, I'm gonna leave this firewall. The new piece actually goes up underneath the heater core box and everything. That's all gonna come out anyway. I'm not sure if I'm gonna restore that and put it back factory, or buy a vintage air system at some point and probably just do away with all that. I would think, I'm not sure. I never put a vintage air system in. I don't know if it comes with a heater core. It's supposed to be heat and AC, so we may not need any of that stuff, or the vents. But anyway, it goes up over underneath here. So until we get all that out and get the front end off, I'm just gonna kind of leave this. But the new section, we'll just butt it up to this type thing instead of overlapping it on this and then overlapping the new piece onto that and all that stuff. Okay, so that's that side. There's all the old floor out of the driver's side. I just cut out. She's all cut out. Now the cover on this side is to cover the wiring. Okay, wiring that goes all the way to the back. Tail lights and these headliner courtesy light things there. I don't know if that's a deluxe only deal, deluxe interior. But we know they had a major fire in here. Back seat was all burnt up. This corner here was all burnt up. Tail lights even melted. This is all warped. So we don't know exactly how the fire started, but this electrical system looks really bad. There's burnt wires there. We got all these wires just kind of, we don't know what. So yeah, could it be fixed? Yeah, but I think some of them taillight wiring was all messed up in sockets, bad sockets. I think we'll look around for a new harness. So that might be in the future. But anyway, that's where that goes. Okay, I did put a little port 15 here since I had some mixed up. This, okay, I just cut this out with a Sawzall basically. I take the grinder and grind all this a lot better. And grind all, I should have put some port 15 up in here. But anyway, I'll be doing a bunch of grinding and then fit that in there, and then we got a new thing to put in. Yeah, this was all bent under here. I couldn't even get at that bolt there because this was all bent up. I took some vice grips and bent it back. So this whole subframe is screwed up. But we're just putting that in there for an alignment so far, for right now. This, I don't know, they put it in an aftermarket shifter or something at some point. We're just going to kind of leave that for now. We may patch it up later. We're not sure if we're putting another 4-speed in here or an automatic, you know. Okay, let me show you underneath. I don't know how good you can see, but yeah, we're going to grind and seam seal and undercoat all that where it joined up there. Okay, we'll have to do all that later. Okay, so I'm going to get to grinding and fitting and welding new. Been sitting out here getting dirty and stuff. But yeah, same thing as the other side. Okay, I'll be back. Okay guys, drilling this for spot welds. I got that right this time. I actually set it in there, put some screws in where it's supposed to be, and then drilled the hole for the seatbelt thread bracket brace. This goes up to the front brace and the toe board, and that's the rear. I just got to grind the burrs out the back and spray a little weld-through primer, and then we're ready to set it in there. Okay, yeah, here's the seatbelt hole here. Now, I didn't really show how this went on there, but that's the bottom deal there, and this goes on the top right there. So this snugs up into there like that. Ah, shit. Okay, another SD card failure. I need to buy another one. So yeah, this goes on the top, that goes on the bottom, snugs up between here. The hole lines up perfectly. I'll show you that here in a minute. grinded all that, got some weld through primer. That's where we're gonna weld to. In here. Now it doesn't look like it's gonna weld very good, and what I'm thinking of doing is instead of leaving screws in there, I got some really big rivets, and I'm thinking about putting 3 or 4 big rivets in there permanently. But also underneath, and we'll get underneath later, we're gonna grind this edge and weld this edge to the floor edge also. Give it some extra strength. Okay, well let me lay it in here, and I'll be back. It fits perfect. I'll be back. Okay guys, I got her set in here. I'll show you right before it gets dark. I gotta get the lights out. But yeah, there's the bolt hole right there, the subframe seat belt hole there. Just started putting some screws in. Gonna put a bunch of more screws in, hold it all together, and we're just gonna push that down to the edge there and weld it all along in there. I forgot to grind the edge of that. Oh well, I'll get it. Yeah, so just same thing as the other side. Just screw it all down and then weld it all in. So I'll be back. Okay guys, I got this screwed down at the back here, and what I want to do, we know that's even right there, but what we want to do is screw down this brace, put that bolt up through there, and snug it down, so that way it'll push this down and we'll know where that goes. But I was about to peel the sticker off. All these parts are made in Taiwan. And I was just thinking about that because all the tariffs are going to go up August 1st in a couple of days. And I just Googled the information. There's no set tariff on Taiwan yet. On Liberation Day it was 32%. And you know, all these different tariffs, and then he lowered it all to 10, and then now it's, who knows, 15% for Europe was announced today or yesterday. So Taiwan's anywhere from 10 to 32%. So anyway, prices may go up. If it goes up to 32%, that's another 22% that we're most likely going to have to pay for these parts. They're already expensive. I just bought the floors for this one here for $466 for the sections, basically like this. Okay, I just thought I'd mention that. Okay, just before I pulled the sticker off, I was pulling all the stickers off everything, and I just figured I'd mention it. Yeah, they're all, I think mostly all these body parts are made in Taiwan. Okay, so yeah, let me snug that up, and what we got to do is weld, because that other brace goes in up to here, so we got to weld this floor all the way across here and here first, and then we can weld in this, and then the seat brace, and then it'll weld up the rest of this. Okay, I'll be back. Okay guys, next day. I spent about 8 or 9 hours last night. Worked till about 5:30 in the morning. Came out here about 8:30. Anyway, I got her all done. She's all in there, welded, ground down. I do want to put a couple little, got to be very careful in here. It'll burn through, so I just got to like just tap it, the welder. So anyway, I got a little area to do there, and right in there I'm just going to do them little areas, and then I'm going to mix up some primer, prime it, and we'll go ahead and paint. Like I said, everything except that firewall piece. We'll paint all this acrylic enamel black. You know, I had a gallon there that I'm using for all the, you know, trunk and this and jams and stuff like that. So yeah, that's it. It lined up really good except for that corner there. I had to slice it a little bit and weld it together. It's not going to look very good on the other side, but we're gonna get at the other side eventually. Like I said, for this area here mainly. But yeah, we got a few more things to do. Then we'll, like the cowl and I ordered this brace here. We'll go over that in a video. It's all rotted. We're gonna go over that. We're gonna do that and the cowl at once. Get a new windshield. We don't know about the channel, if it's gonna be like the back or not. But then once we get that done, then we're gonna take off all this front sheet metal. And then we're gonna work on the firewall, subframe, stuff like that. So that's what's coming up. But anyway, let me, it'll be dark by the time I get done, mix up some primer. We're gonna prime it, paint it, but anyway, I'll show you. I'm gonna be out here all night again because I'm gonna be working on this one. So anyway, and I gotta clean all this stuff out here. We got some patches to do. I'm gonna get at that floor hump on the other side, those holes, because what I bought for this one is this whole rear panel. See, and all I'm replacing is the bottom here. So we got this hump to work with. I know it's probably not the same, but it'll be good to patch it and maybe have a nice curve to it and all that stuff. So we'll do that on another video. We're gonna patch that and patch the door jamb and some other stuff. But we got the main floors done. Got both sides done in one video. There's a lot of work, guys. Probably close to a 30-hour job. Might have been a little bit faster doing a whole floor section at once, but then you're spending twice as much money, and well, I don't know if it'd be any less labor. You wouldn't have to weld in all that. It's all these braces and stuff that this thing's got. But anyway, I'll be back and show you the painted, after it's painted. I'll be back. Okay, guys. Put a couple of coats of primer on there, and then one coat of black paint so far. I gotta put another coat on there. But yeah, anyway, I gotta put a little pour 15 up on that area. Plus we gotta patch that hole there later on, so I'm not gonna worry about that hump there. But yeah, and that's just all from little shavings getting moisture on there, and that's not the floor. It's pour 15 underneath there, so it's good back there. So yeah, and I'll paint it over on that side there too. So anyway, I think that'll do it for the video. And like I said, I already said what's coming up next. So but I think I'll be doing a video on this one next. So we'll work on this one for a little while, then we'll get back to this one. But anyway, yeah, that's the full floor sides, not the full floor assembly. And the full floor assembly doesn't come with all these seat brackets and stuff. You'd still have to buy them, so, you know, don't comment, oh, well, you get the whole floor $500. Yeah, well, doesn't include all the brackets and everything else, and a lot more work, I would think, putting a whole floor in. But anyway, yeah, that's it. Let me know what y'all think. We still got to, yeah, that's also what we got to do too, the other stuff I mentioned. Plus we're going to get up underneath there, probably after I pull the subframe, and we're just going to grind and clean up all the welds underneath there and pretty it up and undercoat it or truck bed line it under there so everything looks good. We still got to pour 15 underneath this whole rear section. I thought I'd done that, but I did the underneath the whole back area, not this seat area. So yeah, we'll get the whole front up on jack stands, pull that subframe and get under there. Okay, so subscribe if you haven't, like, comment, share, all that stuff. We'll see y'all next video. Thanks everybody for watching.